This is the Jeff Oravits Show.
All right, welcome back, everyone, and I'm happy to have on the program, first time since getting over to Washington, D.C., maybe his first interview, too. I guess I should say Congressman Elect Eli CRANE, because you haven't done the swearing-in ceremony as of yet because of the speaker controversy that continues. Eli CRANE, hey, welcome back to the program. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Well, Happy New Year. I mean, is it all that you expected it would be? Thrown right into the fire, man.
And more, Jeff. I thought I'd at least get sworn in before we got into a big fight up here. But hey, I guess that's why I'm here, right?
That's what you told me, you know, when we had interviews prior to, you know, getting elected. And since we've spoken after you've gotten elected is I can't make any promises, but I'm going there to see if we can make some change. And quite frankly, you and 19 others, at least in the Republican Party, has said, let's make a change. And that's, you know, not voting in McCarthy to be the Speaker of the House. I guess let's go back here. Why do that? Why make this your first action in Congress, Eli?
Well, Jeff, I think first and foremost, it's because I told my constituents that I would listen to them. And they have made it loud and clearly apparent to me over the last year and a half that they do not want Kevin McCarthy as Speaker. They don't support him. They don't trust him. And so that's my job up here, Jeff. My title is Representative CRANE, okay? My job is to represent the people who sent me here. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. And as I've been here the last couple of months, Jeff, I can quickly see that a lot of times representatives, they want to represent their people, but they start trying to game out every possible scenario and all the strategy, and they forget what they were really up here to do. And it's I'll be honest with you, Jeff, it can be kind of difficult sometimes, especially when you're in the minority like we are. There's only 20 of us, and we'll see if that 20 holds today against about 200 other people. And, but like I said, I didn't expect to come up here and win all the time, but I did tell the people of Congressional District 2 I was going to fight for them. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
Well, Eli, on yesterday's show, I called you and your 19 colleagues the holdouts, that you're holding the line for many of us. Other people in the media, pundits, even some of your colleagues, I heard some nasty stuff being thrown around today, terrorists, this and that. They're referring to you as rebels and this and that. And I say to myself, is when do we draw the line and say enough is enough? The spending never stops. The constant war never stops. The immigration, it's become the uniparty. And when are we going to stand up and say enough is enough? And that's what you guys are doing. But I'm surprised more haven't come over after like 6 votes or whatever for McCarthy.
Yeah, you know, I kind of am too, but I realize that this town is called the Swamp and the establishment for a reason. Yeah. It's very tough to beat it. But you're right. We have been, you know, taking all sorts of insults, even, you know, the toughest ones from our own side. And what I'll say about that, you know, especially the terrorist comment that was made by a former teammate of mine at SEAL Team 3, I think that says a lot more about that individual and about this town that it does the 20 of us, because we're the one trying to change this town. And for all of you listening out there, this town will not change. The policies and regulations, legislation coming out of this town will not change if you keep putting the same people in. So that's what we're trying to do. I hope we're successful. Jeff, I'll never make you any promises, but that's what this is about for many of us.
Yeah, to make that change. And because here's what a lot of people are saying too is, okay, we put McCarthy in and we can make a motion. The big argument that Andy Biggs was talking about in the show is making a motion to vacate if you become unhappy with the speaker, and then they're magically going to leave and abandon that power. I don't believe that, because he's not backing out now when clearly it's very divisive, and there are other people who can take this position. You voted for Jim Jordan. Are there others that could step up besides Jim Jordan that you'd be fine with? Do you care to share that list, Eli?
Well, what I can tell you, Jeff, is that we've voted for multiple people now. It hasn't been just one.
Sure.
We mainly started by voting for Andy Biggs. Then we switched our vote to Jim Jordan. In day 2, the majority of us were voting for Byron Donalds, a congressman from Lilly, Florida. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it's going to look like today, but I can tell you that there there are certainly several of us that are going to continue to fight and try and get the best possible outcome for this district and for the American people. And, you know, even though we're taking all sorts of slings and arrows, even from our own side, Jeff, I'm proud of the men and women that are in this group that are actually trying to change this swampy town.
No, I am too. I'm just disappointed, as I was disappointed in the election. And I think you and I talked about this, that more people haven't woken up, and that you guys, you 20, I think, are illustrating how deep the problem actually is and how ingrained the swamp actually is, and how much the two parties have really become the uniparty, because we keep voting for the $1.7 trillion thing while we're all, you know, asleep and resting for Christmas. $100 billion has now been sent over to Ukraine. I mean, we can go on and on. Biden's finally going to take his first visit to the border, Eli. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But that only 20 are standing up really illustrates how deep this problem actually is, and how in Washington, D.C., I think people stand up or they want the power. And after 6 votes, you think you'd be like, okay, let's try somebody else. This ain't working. Are you worried about, Eli, I guess, as someone who's been new to this, retribution going forward, trying to get your stuff you want to get done, folks of Arizona want to get done? You worried about that retribution going forward? Political retribution.
A little bit, Jeff. A little bit. I'm a realistic guy. I know there will be retribution. I know I will pay a price for taking this stand. But I'm telling you, Jeff, right now, that if enough of us don't do it, if enough of us don't do it now, this country will not be saved. It will not be turned around. And so I say that as somebody who wants to bring a lot back to Arizona and wants to do a lot for Congressional District 2. But I am telling you right now, there are hills to die on, and I believe this is one. And I hope the American people out there, and I hope the folks in Congressional District 2 understand that, because this town will never change if enough of us aren't willing to put everything on the line.
Have you heard from other colleagues of yours on the GOP side? Because Byron, I believe, flipped over after a couple of votes from Florida. And are there others that are looking at you guys and maybe coming to you privately? And you don't need to name their names, Eli, saying, God, I wish I was standing there with you.
Absolutely. You know, and many of them, they just want to see the dam break. Yeah. And I'm hoping we can create that opportunity. I'm hoping that just being steadfast and solid and holding this line, you know, one thing I learned in combat, Jeff, is that fear is contagious, but so is courage. And I'm hope that is the number one characteristic lacking in this town, Jeff, is courage. And that's what many of us are trying to do. And so for all of you guys out there that have been sending us positive messages on social media, email, etc., thank you so much. It does mean a lot. I'm meeting with the other terrorists, air quotes, right now. Okay. We're talking about how much it means to us, and some individuals are even reading some of those text messages you all are sending. So thank you for that. Well, good.
And a couple of the terrorists come on the show quite a bit, and it's surprising, not surprising, but 3 of the 20 are here in Arizona. You, Congressman Gosar, and Congressman Biggs. And I think that says a lot about Arizona, that half our Republican delegation are doing that. Just to wrap it up here, Eli, what do you think can get done here once you get past the speakership issue, which you will at some point? Something's going to happen here. Yep. I'm concerned that we're kind of in that time period when the Republicans prior to Trump had control, and they passed all these great bills. They had control of the House and the Senate, but had the veto by the presidency, the Obama at the time, right? I'm concerned that we're going to see that the next 2 years. And then if we get full control back, we go back to the same old thing, which is not getting anything done. I mean, do we get anything done here in the next 2 years? Is it possible?
I think anything is possible, Jeff. Like I said,
I'm saying there's a chance.
And right now, my focus is really on just doing the best job we can to try and make some institutional changes to this town. Like I said, I do have hope, but there's a part of me, a rational side of me, that believes that it's going to be very tough just because we don't control enough of the system to get things done. And I think, but honestly, Jeff, right now, with as jacked up as this country is and the byproduct that comes out of this swamp, I think even being able to block the legislation and the bills that are coming out of here for 2 years, I think that's good for the American people. And I'm very confident we can do that.
That's progress right there. It's just being able to stop and have that divided government.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, Eli.
I really appreciate
hey, I appreciate it. Yeah. Be well, and we'll talk with you again real soon. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, folks, love to hear from you. Send an email comment, talkwithjeff@icloud.com. That's talkwithjeff@icloud.com. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere. Back in a minute.
This is the Jeff Oravits Show.